Hi Virgo, thank you for joining me. My name is Gregory Scott and this is your astrology forecast for August 2015. So we're in the 8th month of the year, we're nearing your birthday. So I'm going to give you a really in-depth look in terms of what you're going to be working with, what's coming up. I'll even give you some dates to look out for. So the first thing that's happening is that Venus has left your sign, Virgo, and it's moving into Leo now on the first day of the month. Okay, so Venus, first of all, doesn't particularly like being in your sign because it's very much more organized and responsible than Venus likes to be. It has been good for you because you felt very much pleased within your own routine, in your own kind of way of doing things. And now that Venus is in Leo, you start to feel a little bit more fiery than is comfortable. I think you start to feel very passionate. I think you start to feel very enthusiastic and pushed and pulled in different directions. Okay, so expect lots of ideas and inspiration to come through, and the way to manage that is to get clear and to even make notes of what these inspirations are, so you don't feel overwhelmed by them, so that you don't feel like you have to do them all at once, but that you can jot them down and you can do them one by one. There's also a T-square on this day, which is a really great area of motivation with a solution to it, and it's between Jupiter and Venus. And if you think back on July, I did a video on this, the Star of Bethlehem, Jupiter and Venus conjoined to create the illusion of one star. And that happened in your 12th house. And that is a real sign of hope. And it's a sign of new beginnings, and it's a sign of luck and love. And it happened in your 12th house of spirituality, of the deeper meanings of life, of fitting into the bigger picture, making sense of the bigger picture. And this has been a real time of quite profound spiritual truth for you. I think you felt very much aligned with who you are yourself. And I think you've also felt like you see the way forward, and you kind of sense the direction that you've got in your life. So if you have that kind of feeling, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going, I kind of have an inkling of the success that's coming in future, then please own that. If you don't at all feel connected with that in any way, then sit down and actively do something that's very spiritual and not physical. You as an earth sign, cast your mind to the unmanifest. Deliberately try and connect with the air or the spiritual side of life. And I feel that you will get a certain feeling that you are on the right track. Now on the 1st, that connects with the moon in the 6th, the peace and calm that you have within your life, and it goes out into Saturn, in Scorpio. First of all, it means that emotionally you feel very stable within yourself, and second of all, it means that you can bust out of things. If there is any anxiety, underlying anxiety on the sides of that, it's a symbol to bust out of old ways of communicating, and that you've gotten to the next level, and that you can really say things that you care about, that you can be much braver than you have in the past, and that it's time for you to speak out and to speak up and to express yourself freely. And that, so it's not anxiety in terms of fear, it's anxiety in terms of do this, express this, make sure you put that out there. On the 3rd of August, there's a grand trine in water. And water, again, is often spirituality, and at the beginning of August, I really see you connecting to that spiritual side of life. This is between working on your hopes and dreams coming true, your feelings towards other people, and the things that were expected of you being left behind now for some greater order. So I feel that you stop listening to things that you've been taught in the past. I think you stop carrying around baggage with you of the way things ought to be done, and I think you refer to a higher power, a higher authority, which is spirit, which is the universe, which is how you feel on the inside, and it really allows you to take action in a much more open and a much freer way than you're used to. And I think you break a lot of the rules at the beginning of August, my dear Virgo. 5th of August, the moon trines Jupiter, and Jupiter is right on top of your right on top of your sign, okay? That really indicates that, let me just double check, Moon trines Jupiter, yes, okay. So the Moon is in the 8th, which is other people, and Jupiter is right near Virgo, so yourself. So there's a harmonious connection between the way you feel talking to other people and your own sense of self. There's not, I'm not good enough, or I'm too much, or I need to control these people, or they need to control me. It's a real sense of harmony and a feeling of coexisting in a positive way with other people. On the 7th, the Sun starts to square the Moon. And this is interesting because you see the dichotomy, to use a big word there, between spiritual knowledge, spiritual truth, and the learning of the real world. And you start to, wow, this is so deep. Yeah, you really, what I said earlier with you stop doing things the way you've been taught and you start doing them the way you feel. It's almost like, you know, you've been taught to do grammar, okay, at school, and you have to write a certain way for it to be right. But then you discover, like, through spiritual knowledge or through knowledge of the world, the writings of E. E. Cummings, for instance, who didn't use punctuation at all. And then it's like, hey, I was taught something that I don't even need to do. I can do things my own way. And that's what I'm getting. The world has been telling you how to live your life for a long time, and you followed those rules. But now, at the beginning of August, Spirit says to you, you can live your life this way. And you listen to it, and you hear it, and you start to redesign the way you are, and you start to become braver because you're no longer trapped by the confines of that. Isn't that amazing? On the 8th, Mercury goes into Virgo, into your sign. So now that you're clear on that, you can really communicate very, very clearly. You can really express yourself in exactly the way you mean to, and you can be understood exactly the way you want to be understood. Mercury is your ruler. It's not in retrograde anywhere near this month. This is a wonderful time for you to speak, to communicate, to write, and to be crystal clear about what your intention and what your meaning is. There's also a Grand Cross on this day, which means that you feel very powerfully about what your purpose is. You've seen it, and you're going to rebel against the things that you've done in the past. So I really think you turn over a new leaf, you discover a new part of yourself, a new purpose to your life, a new message that you want to share. Have a look for that on the 8th. It's going to be powerful, and it's going to be very different to things that you've done before. On the 9th, Mars moves into Leo, and all of this is going on in your 12th house. Mars is the soldier, it's the warrior. He sits there with the Sun, Venus, Jupiter, and your midheaven all in Leo in your 12th house. So there's a huge amount of fire in terms of your spirituality. It's like a burning bush, okay? To put that together, earth and fire is a burning bush. In your spiritual sector, you will hear the voice of God, the voice of the universe, your divine guidance, your angels very, very clearly at the beginning of this month. And I've done quite a lot of the forecasts for this month already, and you, Virgo, are the most spiritual sign so far according to the chart this month, which might come as a surprise to you because usually you're so used to being talked to as grounded and practical and earthy. This month, all of those other factors of life are going to really influence you. On the 11th, the Moon trines Neptune, and that occurs, okay, I think one of your friends, one of your relationships will say something to you which will give you a real sense of positivity on the 11th. I think you'll love what someone has to say to you on the 11th. It'll make you feel good. I think it'll give you an idea to recover one of your hopes and dreams. It will be one of your hopes and dreams coming true. I think you'll have a fabulous conversation on the 11th that's really going to fill you full of joy, and one of your dreams will become realized. Between the 12th of August through until the 19th of August, Mercury starts to connect in a trine relationship with Pluto. What I see over these couple of days is that the negativity that you've experienced in your romantic life, particularly when you've made yourself vulnerable, one of those old wounds that you're carrying around, you can heal that by expressing it. So if you were betrayed, if you were cheated on, if you were dumped, if you were robbed, if you were left, if you were abandoned, anything like that, by getting it out, by communicating it, you can draw a line under that once and for all. It's a hugely healing time for you. At the same time, oh, and yes, if I had trumpets, I would play them now. 12th of August, Jupiter, the lucky planet of good fortune, arrives, Virgo, in your sign, Virgo, for the next year. It's going to stay in your sign until the 10th of September 2016. And this is awesome for you because Jupiter is good luck, good fortune, and it's in your sign. Okay, so the things you do normally anyway, all of the actions you take, the organized way you live, the attention to detail, the attention to really getting things right before and laying the foundation and really being clear about that, all of those things, that's what's going to bring luck into your life. You do it anyway. You don't need to do anything. You're going to be so much luckier from the 12th of August for the next year, not just this month, for the next year than you have been in the last 11 years. Jupiter changes signs once a year, so it means it takes it 12 years to get to each sign. So this is a once in a 12-year occurrence. I'm so excited. This is going to be so good. I'm a Virgo as well, so this extra luck is going to be very, very good. On the 14th of August, the new moon occurs. And that again happens in your 12th house. And the new moon, I want you to think of it as the end of a vacuum cleaner pipe sucking in, and it brings in spiritual energy into yourself. So the 14th, if you are totally unspiritual, if you've never had a spiritual moment in your life, sit down on the 14th of August, pretend to do a meditation. I'm saying pretend because you don't know how. Just sit there and pretend to meditate however you think it's done, and you will get a huge spiritual insight message awakening. I'm going to jot that into my diary. And also on the 14th, there's a connection with Chiron in the 7th. This spiritual understanding, it's not just for you to become more enlightened, it's to heal past relationship pains of the past. If someone, and that's another theme, that theme was there with your romantic life earlier. It's now here with any relationships. If someone abused you, if someone betrayed you, those kind of things we carry around and they build walls within us. You can heal that so you can be open without any walls, so you can be ready and available for new relationships, more positive relationships. On the 15th, Jupiter and Neptune start to oppose each other, and they do that until the 13th of October 2015. Jupiter at this stage now is in your first, in Virgo, and Neptune is in Pisces, in your 7th. Pisces is your opposing sign anyway. Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune is very happy in Pisces. The opposition between this new way of you being and Neptune kind of being the other, it's almost like you, rather than push against Neptune and say spirituality is something that is unlike me, you open yourself up to that, and Neptune is drawn in and comes closer, and you become this spiritual being, and you have these insights. Wow. So the growth that occurs and the luck, the stage is being set here, because looking beyond astrology, human beings are spiritual beings having a human experience, okay? And for you, Virgo, the scene is being set because you're now becoming aligned with the truth of who you are, your spiritual core. You integrate that into yourself, and that's where your luck factor comes, because that spiritual energy gives you divinely guided information, and you take action that is divinely guided. 444. You get ideas, you do your practical thing around it anyway, and things start to go really well because you're aligned with spirit. So this is all being done despite you, for you, free of charge. Isn't that great? On the 18th of August, the moon has now moved into Libra. It's in your 2nd house. Great day for you financially, a lot of harmony in terms of your financial life. And it connects with your Mars and your midheaven, which is in the 12th. Money is something that's important to you. Because you're grounded and you like order, when there's enough financial stability and security, it gives you the safety to explore other things. Your finances are very good at the moment. It allows you to look at spirituality. And because you look at spirituality, your finances improve. So especially around the 18th of the month is a very good financial time for you. On the 20th of August, the moon is on your ascendant in the third house, and it trines Neptune. So on this day, there's a tendency to speak very candidly about your emotions and to possibly even overshare with people in your life. I think information just tumbles out of you. So if there is someone who you find it difficult to open up to, it's a great time to do that. Although in my experience, what I've found is that the people you find it difficult to open up to, it's like that for a reason. It's usually your own system protecting you from opening up to that person. But again, today you're less guarded in that sense. So what I would suggest is just be careful about how much you share and who you share it with. It can be beautiful if it's with a person who's deserving of this information, but if it's one of your, if someone you're competing with, you know, if you're in the ego and if you're about competition, then your feelings are going to trip you up a little bit. On the 23rd of August, there's another T-square that happens between this Neptune, Sun and Venus. Right, so the answer to this communication issue that I just mentioned is to communicate the things that that are on your mind at the moment with people who are like family. Okay, so your actual family, who you trust with your life. If you're in a 12-step recovery program, then it's talking to your sponsor or people in your home group or something like that. But it's people who you trust, because I really think that you do have something on your mind at the moment, something you want to get off your chest. It doesn't need to be negative, but remember, this whole month you've had these huge spiritual insights. You're going to have to share those with someone so you can talk through them and make sense of them and all of that stuff and digest them. So pick wisely in terms of who you share. There's a grand trine in fire on the 24th, and this is, I think there might be, you've really woken up to who you are, okay, and you've become much more aware of spirituality. I think someone in your life comes in and professes to have all the answers and comes in and says, oh, no, that wasn't an awakening, that was just a healing crisis because I'm a Reiki expert and I know about these things, or whatever. There are billions of people like that around who will always try and minimize your experience and tell you what it really was, according to them, because they're the expert and you're a fool. Okay. We all know people like that. So I think on the 24th, someone like that will appear and will try and, I don't know, for their own sake of, you know, I know better, whatever, who knows why. They will try and approach you on that way. And again, this is the kind of thing, that's why you're being careful about who you share things with. Because if you share your deepest, darkest with a know-it-all, they will then take that and turn it into something else. So stick with the meaning that you've got, because that's the truth. You've really understood things on a profound level. And if it is super, super profound, then, you know, some things I don't share with anybody. Some of the most intense things that I've experienced, and where there's any doubt in my mind, where there might be misunderstanding about it, or people might misunderstand, or I just said misunderstand twice, or people might take it the wrong way or try and minimize my experience, I just don't share it because I value that too much. So, you know, we don't need to express and splurge everything. We really don't. On the 28th, Mercury goes into Libra, and Mercury is your ruler. It goes into Libra in your second house, and I think this is very clever because you become much more sociable now, and you become much more savvy. You become a street smart Virgo. What would that look like? I think that would be like a pharmacist who instead of, you know, going to the warehouse to get her homeopathic treatment, gets it wholesale from the source or something like that. It's like someone who's smart, okay? Someone who does good, but in a sneaky way. So you do things in a really clever, street smart way that will benefit you. And if you're trying to work with other people, this is the best time of the month to do it, because you will make sure to protect your own interest while still having the greater good in mind. On the 29th is the full moon. Okay, and this full moon is in Pisces, and this whole month for you has been very odd because it's been very Piscean. So this full moon is right on top of your descendant, and you really become the other this month. You really have that spiritual moment, I think, on the 29th, and I think you understand what it's meant. And I think all of this stuff, especially at the beginning of the month, up until the kind of 15th, 20th, that you were experiencing that was so profound, really settles in now, and you have that for life. I think the great thing about Virgo is that Virgo never goes back. Virgo is practical. Virgo is on planet Earth. Virgo doesn't look what happened in the past. Virgo is interested about making things useful. So you have this spiritual awakening. On the 29th, you understand how to make it useful. If this is a greater sense of clairvoyance that you now own and take ownership of, or if that's for the first time that you're no longer an atheist and you're now an agnostic, and you may think there's something out there that you never thought might be, that you will never lose that. You'll never go back. So you can build on that now in future, and it's a great month of awakening. Finally, there's a yod at the end of the month, and again, it's a renewed love for the greater wisdom of the universe, which I don't know if you've had already, if you've felt that, a love for the process of life, a love for the order of the universe, of the spiritual laws that are in place and are affecting you. Because you've tapped into them, you see and you appreciate them for, I don't know, the first time maybe, or for the 100th time. But you certainly at the end of the month will have a greater and deeper appreciation for those aspects of life. So Virgo, that's your prediction for the month. Excuse me, I hope you found it useful. If you'd like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Have a great August, and I'll speak to you soon.